I'm not one that normally prepares comments, but I'm feeling raw, as so many of you understand, that I felt that some written words that were prepared a bit earlier today might keep me in message. So thank you for indulging me as I share what I prepared. We are gathered here today because a radical American homophobe, and I want to say that again for the media that's here, a radical American homophobe walked into a gay club and executed 49 LGBT people in their place of safety. Who here remembers their first gay club experience? Mine was at the Zoo Bar, October 1994. I was 19 and in awe. I spent the night leaning against a wooden beam between the bar and the dance floor, watching gay men and lesbians dance with each other, touching each other, and kissing one another. I was in a different world, a world for me to go and be free and be safe. In my 20s, I spent many evenings either at the Zoo Bar or Brothers. And as I grew older, the world outside of the gay club was growing more tolerant and safe. I found myself needing to spend less time at the clubs, as I was able to be me the majority of time anywhere I went in our community. LGBT people have been intimidated and coerced all of our lives. And despite all the progress made, we have all needed to gauge our surroundings and think about how to present ourselves to the world at one time or another. Each one of us has attempted to hold our lover's hand as we walk down the street or kiss our partner in public. And each one of us has pulled back, like I did during my swearing-in ceremony last November, as my beloved Amy attempted to kiss me after pinning me with the Kalamazoo seal. I turned my head, and I was too worried that I would be too gay for those in the room or those watching on TV. I was unable to freely express who I was, who I am. Today, my heart is exploding with love and grief for those who have died and were terrorized in Orlando. I'm also burning with anger as I watch pro-gun politicians who have introduced hundreds of anti-LGBT bills this year alone offer prayers but never once mention the word homophobia or transphobia. The religious rights hatred and the religious freedom laws fuel homophobic and transphobic fire. We are unfortunately reminded that just because we have achieved marriage equality, it does not mean that our struggle to live and love freely is over. I read a headline earlier today stating America is, quote, diverse in our death toll and united in our frustration and fear. I know that I am tired of living in fear. I do not want to fear my safety at the movies, in a school or an office building, while worshiping at my church, or while I shop for a car, or when I ride my bike, and especially when I'm in my safe place and I'm dancing with a loved one. Enough is enough. We must remain vigilant and demand action. Thank you.
Representative John Hope.
I've been looking at my Facebook feed over the last day, and I think a lot of people feel exactly the same way that I feel. You were oscillating between anger and fear and sadness and strength. We see these reminiscences of joy where people are telling about their first time being in a safe space and experiencing a moment of liberation on the dance floor. And it's exhausting. Every time we gather at one of these conversations, it is exhausting. And then we go back to the places where we work and where we live, and people say it's too soon to talk about change, or we passed our moment, or people forget. And we have to break this cycle. We have to break this cycle. I look out across here, and this is what our community looks like. It is diverse, and it is strong, and it is beautiful, and it is tired of being told that we should be afraid. These acts of cowardice and violence on Sunday that executed 49 people in a hate riot need to stop. In the intersectionality of pieces that brought it there, that said that it's better to pit oppressed communities against each other, that said it's okay to have as much fuel or anger as we possibly can afford, where it says that anybody can have a weapon. These are things that we have to challenge. I looked to a couple of my mentors, trying to figure out what to do. And I think the lesson that I took away 2 lessons from those conversations I had. The first is that it is absolutely okay for you to do whatever you need to do to heal and feel whole. So if for you, that means taking a moment to breathe and meditate, or be with us here in solidarity and strength, that is perfectly fine. If you're someone that wants to demand action and you want to call for change, then scream it at the top of your lungs, because everybody has a right to heal. From my heart, to be vigilant over the next days and weeks. I think we all saw this quote talking about how there will be those that try to get oppressed, that will pit oppressed groups against each other in the coming days. Resist those calls. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? Wisdom of the ages. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So I close by saying love. Love boldly, love freely, love from the center of your heart, love more than you have in the past, because when we love, when we share joy, we are stronger than anybody who is against us. And we will dance again.